Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Nurse Amy and thank you for tuning in. Thank you for keeping a date with me. Thank you for following my podcast, Nurse Amy Online. I have gotten lovely letters from nursing assistants and nursing students. Thank you. Some have actually said, oh, they would have loved to have been through my class. Thank you. Something I'm also starting to do is do like an online review. I'm open to that. My students are always calling me anyway, prior to going for their skills state testing. They call me because they have nerves or they've forgotten, and my job is to inspire, motivate, and help you succeed. So there was I did an episode which is nursing assistants are not your slave, and that is true. I'm very I feel strongly about that. I've always had an empathy for nursing assistants. But even more so now that I'm a CNA instructor, and it's like I've gone into even more into that world. One thing, this is just part of my upbringing, you just have to be nice to people. You never know where people are going to be in the future. So you've got to be nice to people, not even just for yourself, but for your kids, for your family. You know, you put good out there, good comebacks to you. So I do believe that strongly. So today again, I'm going to be talking more about nursing assistants. And for those of you who haven't been through my class, one thing I tell my students is that nursing assistant is boss. B-O-S-S. Yes, you're a boss. Now, why do I say that? Well, you're the first point of contact. You're the bedrock of healthcare. I've said this in my coaching classes. I've said this in my classroom. I've said this on my podcast, Nurse Amy Online. You need to tune in and listen to me anyway you listen to your podcast. Nursing assistants are boss. You need to know that. Do not let people box you. Now, a lot of times when I talk about nursing assistants, I want you to realize this. I generalize. Yes, I do. And I know there are nurses out there saying, okay, clearly she's not been hurt by a nursing assistant before. Oh, I have. I have worked with evil nursing assistants. I even remember a particular one right now as I'm talking to you. Oh, actually, another one just came on in my mind. Oh, another one. Oh, yeah, there are plenty of them out there, evil. But that doesn't make all of them evil. I've also met the greatest, wonderful nursing assistants. Some of them are lifelong friends of mine, and they only want to work when I'm working. Nursing assistant call me, the ones I've worked with. They call me on my phone and want to know, Nurse Amy, Miss Amy, when are you going to work? That's only when I'm coming to work. I thank God for this. But it's no brain, what do they call it? Brain surgery, or it's not brain science. Brain surgery. It's not brain science. Just be nice to people. Be human. And they will also want to work your shift. Now, why am I saying nursing assistants, you need to know that you're the boss. Now, a lot of nursing assistants don't see themselves as the boss. But I want you to see yourself as the boss. This is what I tell my students. You are the first point of contact. Do you see all those reports that get to the doctors, that get to the family members, that get to the director of nursing, that get to the administrator, that even goes on to the corporate office or where you work? It starts from you. You're the first person to notice that this person keeps coughing. And so they have a swallowing problem, which inadvertently is going to bring the speech therapist to evaluate their gag reflex and so on and so forth. Yeah, that's you. You're the first person to note that this person isn't having a good bowel movement. That's you. You're the first person to notice a skin breakdown. That's you. You are the first person to notice there's a change in mental status. So you see all those care plans that the nurses have to write, that the DON come and they have all those series of care plans for the family and also involve doctors. It all starts from you, the good aide. Now, I told you guys, because for those of you who don't know me, I'm a writer. So I do write. And there are some books I'm going to publish in the future. In the very, very not distant, soon. And for those who want to be interviewed, you can let me know. You can leave your comments, or you can reach me directly at nurseamyacademy@gmail.com. I'm looking to interview people and your experiences. But there are different kinds of aides. That's one I'm writing on. Not all aides are good. But then we're not talking about the bad ones now, are we? I'm talking to aides. There's probably a reason why we have bad aides. They feel helpless, they're being bullied, and they think the only way they can succeed is, I got to get it back to the nurses. I've got to be mean to them. Because you already feel that you're the bottom of the totem pole, so no one cares, no one listens to you. I tell you this, a good aide, every nurse wants to work with you. Even the doctors know about you. When we are in our meetings, we're talking about you. Good aides are hard to find. So when you find one, you want to appreciate that aide. The sad thing, though, is everybody piles on. It's the same thing with a good nurse. People pile on. They give you more work because they know you're dependable. They know you're loyal. They know that you're honest. They know that you're kind and compassionate. You're empathetic and all those good qualities. I know it can be tough. Nurse and aides, you've got to know your worth. You are the one who really, really advocates for those patients. You're the one who's the first to notice abuse. Physical, financial, psychological, verbal, it's you. You are the best advocate for those patients and those residents. You are the best protector of those residents. So you need to know this. Don't pile on. People pile on you. You don't need to pile on yourself. You need to know what you're worth. And I tell my students this. I tell those who listen to my podcast and watch my videos, and those even nurse and aides that I work with, I let them know. You have to know your worth. Am I asking you to be rude? No. You just need to know that no matter what they say to you, no matter how people tend to want to dismiss you, you know your worth. And it will be nice sometimes to remind nurses what you're worth. Now, there is a difference between being assertive and being aggressive and being rude. You just got to find a creative way by showing your work. Your work will show. When you're a sloppy aide, when you're a dirty, lazy aide, people know. I know. Even in the classroom, I know those that don't pull their weight. So you can tell what kind of aides they're going to be. And you know they're going to struggle at work. And I know those aides are also going to be the bullies. Because sometimes when you're bullying, because you don't want to be caught or found out that you're lazy, you're ignorant, you're sloppy, you're inadequate. Something is disconnected somewhere. And so you cover it by being a bully. Bullies are people who lack self-esteem. People who don't see themselves as worth anything. And ignorant people. That's why people bully. Because when they bully you, their secret is hidden. So to me, when you bully, I already know you're already feeling inadequate. I already know I intimidate you. I already know you feel uncomfortable when I come around. That's the reason why people bully. So when a nurse is bullying you, my darling aides, know that nurse, you intimidate her. You show off something she wishes she had. She's afraid you're going to find out she's ignorant. She's afraid you're going to find out that she's probably abusing the patients. She's afraid you're going to find out she's probably stealing drugs. I know nurses are not going to like those things I'm saying, but I'm not piling on nurses. You need to understand this, nurses, if you're watching my YouTube channel or you're listening to my podcast. I'm a nurse. I'm a registered nurse. Are all nurses bad? No. Am I bad? No, I'm not. And I'm telling you, you can ask people I've worked with. They will tell you. People like me. Now, what does that mean when I say people like me? I'm a very structured nurse. I'm very professional. I am old school. Do your work. I don't like sloppy or lazy aides. Neither do I like sloppy or lazy nurses, because I'm one person who work. I do my job. So when I find people are piling onto my job and not carrying their own weight, I get really pissed. I get angry. I don't work well with lazy people or mean people. I don't like mean-spirited people. But the thing is, you as the aide, you do your job. Do your job. Be confident in what you know. You've got to know your scope of practice. I'm not asking nursing aides to be rude. You can't be rude. I'm trying to tell you that you matter. Nurse aides matter too. That's a good one. Nurse aide life matter too. Maybe that's what I should make this topic, the title of this episode. Nurse aides matter too. But you're very important. You're boss. And I've told my class this. You are boss. Please understand, I'm not asking you to be rude to your nurses. You shouldn't be. That's your supervisor. You can't be rude to your supervisor. You're not going to keep your work. You're not going to keep your job. And when you have an abusive supervisor, well, there are ways to take care of that, which we'll probably treat in subsequent episodes. There are ways to be assertive. It's just the same way they tell us nurses. Because we have abusive doctors, medical doctors, that will bully you, pull rank on you unnecessarily because, again, they're ignorant. Because they feel intimidated by you, because they're shallow, because they lack self-esteem. They don't feel worthy. That's why people bully. Something is wrong somewhere. So you as the nurse also have to find a way to know your worth so you can handle those people. So in the same light, I am telling nursing aides, you have to know your worth. In the hierarchy of things, yes, maybe you're at the bottom, the very bottom. Believe me, the nursing department is at the very, very bottom. The nurses, oh my God, don't even get me started. The nurses are the very, very bottom. And they do everything. So I get it. You as the nursing aide, yes, everybody dumps on you. But you've got to know your worth. You've got to know that healthcare is built on your shoulders. Healthcare. The healthcare system rides on your shoulders. Are you listening to me? I bet no one's told you this before. I'm telling you now. This is the crop of students that I graduate every time. I make them feel important. I've had people in my class say, those that have worked in the field and they've let, their certification lapse or something. So they do know about, the hierarchy and the bullying in the healthcare system. And they know, oh God, as nursing assistants, people do not respect them and people treat them badly. When they go through my class, they come out with a newfound pride in their job. You being a nursing assistant does not transcribe or immediately is synonymous with slavery. I don't know where it is. Someone needs to show that to me. There's no way it says that you're a slave. You're very important. You wear the scrubs just like everyone else. So clearly you are important. Guess what? You're the confidant of the patient and the resident. You are their confidant. You're the one they feel comfortable enough with to be able to spill their guts to. There's certain things they will tell you. You're the one who knows they're not taking their medication. You're the one who knows why they're not taking their medication. You're the first person who knows, guess what? If they're being bullied or if they've been abused by their family members. Those are the nursing aides. You know all these things. You are important both to the family and also to the healthcare workers, your nurses, the DONs, the administrators, the physical therapist. Oh, physical therapist, I love you guys, but you're always taking those patients off the floor and you make our work so challenging. I'm just speaking on them. I was trying to be funny, but anyone who's working in the healthcare system would know there's always that joke or, kind of tension between nurses and physical therapists, because they always take our patients and the poor patients don't even know. They're like, I've got to get my exercise on. True you do, but you also need to be healed. You need your medication. So the nursing assistant is the know it, hear it, see it person. You're the ears and the eyes of the nurses. You're the ears and the eyes of the doctors. You're the ears and the eyes of the family members. Do you see what kind of position you sit in? Very cushiony. Some people, and I've heard people say this, that certified nursing assistant are butt wipers. Well, if you see yourself as a butt wiper and only as a butt wiper, then that's what you are. I can help you. But if you listen to what I'm telling you, wiping butt is not a crime. It's a job. Someone's got to do it, and you're doing it and doing it with pride. Being a butt wiper, I actually don't like to use that, but I have heard people use that. And it's the aides that I've heard use that word, because aides need to up their self-esteem. You've got to take pride in what you do. So actually that term butt wipe, I've only heard from aides, not nurses. They describe themselves, I've heard them complaining, well, people think, all I do is wipe butt all day. That is an aide language. Nurses don't use that. At least not that I've heard of. But I know a lot of aides use that because, it's just because they feel bad. They're angry. But see yourself much more than that. See yourself as a proud patient advocate, a loyal and a very important member of the care team. All those physical therapists, they come to you when they need, because again, they deal with activities of daily living. Okay, transferring people, exercising, eating, dressing, walking, sitting down. The basic essence of that patient or that resident, it's in your fingers. You have all that power. Don't give it away. All that report we give between nurses, and we also relay report to doctors, it comes from you. You're the first person who's going to notice this person is sleepy all day. That report trickles up. I don't want to say trickle down because it actually goes up to the doctor. The doctor is above the nurse. Don't allow yourself to be bullied. I mean, it's easier said than done. I get it, especially when you have a bullying culture. Nurses get bullied too, all the freaking time. Well, this is a series I'm starting, and hopefully you're going to enjoy it, because I'm going to be talking about all these things in healthcare and all the things that happen. My students wanted me to talk about it, and even my colleagues, and so I've started talking about it. Things that happen in the healthcare, and especially to the nursing aide, and also again my job. I take my job very seriously, and part of it is to inspire you and to motivate you to not remain just as a nursing aide, but to go on ahead and, aspire to be something else. But then if you just want to be nursing, and I have met people, that's what they love to be, because they like the personal bedside care. Some people love that. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. People love what they're doing. I have met aides who took pride in what they're doing, and it's inspiring. I was talking about my student in the last episode who was actually abused by this nurse. She loves being an aide. She enjoys it. She enjoys the companionship. she brings to her patients. She loves to talk to them. Some people, it's a calling. But I have told people, if you're coming into the healthcare sector, really, it has to be a calling. It's not an easy job. I find that it's like in this job, you're not really appreciated. I mean, I could tell you horror stories. I could tell you stuff about being a nurse. It's not easy. Nursing is not easy. Again, I've worked with evil people, but let's not even talk about the people. Let's talk about the work. Everyone piles on you. There's water on the floor. It's the nurse's fault. The door is not working, is the nurse's fault. The family member isn't able to reach the resident in the room, is the nurse's fault. The doctor is not and picking up his calls, is the nurse's fault. It's always the nurse's fault. The nurse it's at fault for everything. The nurse is the doctor. He or she is the chaplain. He or she is the pharmacist. The lab person pricks you and makes you bleed. It's the nurse's fault. It's always the nurse's fault. The food is cold. It's the nurse's fault. It's a thankless job. I mean, that's one way of looking at it. But then are there people who are appreciative? Yeah, it just seems like more and more people are now. It's a high-stress job. And I think it's a calling. I also believe there are bullies hiding in plain sight, people who are mean, evil, narcissistic, sociopath, psychopath that are also in this healthcare, and they're hiding in plain sight and they have fodder. They have patients they can bully. They have people they can bully and just, make their life miserable because that's they're sociopaths or psychopaths or narcissistic personality, those borderline personalities. You have all of them in healthcare. You do, diagnosable. I mean, clinically diagnosable, but, well, we don't know everybody's diagnosis. And people who have those type of disorders are not going to be diagnosed. They're not, like owning up. But I have met people that, clearly something is off, So nurse and assistants, I want you to know that you're the first point of contact. You're important. You've got to start feeling that. You've got to know you're more than a butt wipe. I actually do not like that word. I already made that clear. You need to stop using that word. But you're more than just a person who feeds patients. No. You are proud patient advocate. The first point of contact. The one whose shoulders healthcare runs on. You got to know that. So thank you for tuning in to another episode of Nurse Amy on YouTube. Thank you so much for your support. Please visit my podcast, Nurse Amy Online. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Nurse Amy Academy. Write to me directly at nurseamyacademy@gmail.com. Thank you all so much. And my love to all my students and would-be students and, all those nursing students and CNAs out there and my colleagues, nurses. Let's be good to this nursing aides, okay? They're human too. So until I come your way again, stay blessed.